In this video, we're going to be discussing sharing and distributing the My Library report. Up until now, the impact of our Power BI report has been very much a personal affair. But if we do have these wonderful insights into our data, and now that we know that this data is up to date, we're going to want to share it with organization users. You have two key sharing opportunities: to share it with an individual user or to share it with a group of users. And that's by sharing using something called an Active Directory security group. And these would be set up by your organization administrators. Sharing a report with someone isn't the same as distributing it so that they can actually find it. There are a number of ways in which people can find the school library report. It could be because it's been shared with them in the Power BI service, and when they go to app.powerbi.com, they can see the report that's been shared with them. They might also be given a link to the Power BI report, but you can also distribute a report so that it appears within a Microsoft Teams channel or on a SharePoint site. At this point, we are working in the Manage Report stage of the Power BI report creation process. We're now going to move on to a demonstration of sharing and of distributing your report. And whilst you can do this in the context of your organization tenant, you won't be able to do this in your Power Up environment, as you don't have access to Teams, SharePoint, and you can't see organization users. Let's move over to the demonstration. I'm now at app.powerbi.com. but I'm using a completely different Microsoft tenant, one that gives me more sharing and distribution possibilities. If I go to my workspaces, I can see I have a workspace called PowerUp, and in that workspace I have one report. I can hover over to the right hand side of the report and I can share from here, or I can select into the report and I can share from this area here. I can share with individual users. Select the user. And if I select send, they will get an email which indicates that the report has been shared with them. As an alternative, I can share with an Active Directory user group. And these would be typically set up by your IT administrative functions. Simply put, these are collections of people within your organization. Let's take a look at one within this organization. I have a group called Power Up Team Members. If I look at the members, I can see that this group has two members, Alex Baker Wong and Charlie Phipps. Move back to my library report, and I'm going to type in Power. My Power Up Team Members group appears, and I can now press send. And the report is now shared with these users. Because this is a report within a workspace, the individuals will need a Power BI Pro license in order to be able to view the report. Let's now consider report distribution. We're going to look at it in the context of Microsoft Teams. I'm going to move to Home, select on Teams, select on the Teams app. I'm going to look at the PowerUp demonstration team, select plus, and then type in Power, select Power BI, press save, and we can either add a link by taking it from the URL that we can see, or we can browse from your workspaces. Select on this, select on the Power Up workspace, and we have My Library Report. Select Add. And the report is added to this tab within Teams. I'm now going to add it to a SharePoint site. Go to Home, then hit the Lab Launcher, select SharePoint, select a SharePoint site. I can edit the site, add a web part, type in Power, select Power BI, select Add Report, go to My Library Report, copy the URL, move back to SharePoint and paste in the Power BI link. And we can now republish the site. Republish. The Power BI report has now been added, and if I hit the 3 dots, I can even explore that within Power BI. Let's conclude by inserting a Power BI report into a PowerPoint presentation. I'm on the Insert tab of PowerPoint. Select on Power BI. I can either select the recently used report, paste the URL in, or find more data in Power BI. I'm going to paste the URL in from our Power BI report and then insert. I can resize this report and move it into position. And if we move into presentation mode, we'll find that the Power BI report is fully interactive, as demonstrated in the presentation. And this brings to an end the demonstration of how to distribute your Power BI reports. Sharing and distributing are a fundamental part of working with Power BI. They're important because once we have our wonderful insights, we want to share them with as many people in the organization as we possibly can, but also to ensure that only those people that should have access do have access. Thank you for watching.